Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting for October 26, 2023. It is 6:02 p.m. and I am opening the meeting. Can everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. So the first thing on our agenda for tonight is discussion on relocating the polling place from West Warren Senior Center to the Shepherd Building. And this is an anticipated vote. And the town clerk did request us to discuss this and take a potential vote on that. And you are up.
6:15, huh? The
please-
pressure's on now.
Please identify yourself and
I'm Laurie
your
Feldman,
position.
Town clerk.
Thank you.
I know I was here last week, but we tabled it to this week because, in all honesty, what I need is the vote, so. So I'm here tonight seeking your approval to relocate polling place B, which is the senior center, to here, 48 High Street, in the gym. Not, well, specifically in the gym, but that is my intention to the gym. Not as one whole, it'll still be A and B, will still be separate. One would be on one side, one would be on the other side. Many towns who have multiple precincts, they all vote in one location. They just, have different tables, different voting machines, different areas, different check-in lines, but they still typically will vote just like that in one place. Pretty much the state says in order to even have more than one polling place, you're supposed to have 6,200 residents or more. We have currently pretty much like 4,613 residents exactly as of today. However, registered voters are only 3,800, so we are definitely below that criteria. The reason why we're allowed to do it is because there was an exemption made on the state level, at the House, state level back in 1993, which was 30 years ago. And we've been doing it ever since. 30 years later, we have a whole lot of things have changed, First of all, things are much more expensive than they used to be. We have mail-in ballots now, which are mandatory state laws, which are a lot of work, which involve the polling place by way of the check-in book, my state computers, and our Dropbox, which are all here at 48 High Street, except for the one check-in book that is across town, so it makes for a lot of running back and forth all day long just to check the book against ballots that are received the day of, which they are allowed to drop in a ballot in the Dropbox all day long up until 8 o'clock at night. So I would say there are multiple reasons why I would like to do this. Number one would be saving money. I have talked to the state. First of all, let me say, I talked to Jim about this well over the summer. He checked with town council. They said all I need to relocate a polling place would be the vote of the selectmen. I confirmed that with the elections division, and they agreed that that is all, by way of coming to a meeting and getting your vote. They told me steps I would need to take if it should get approved, like notifying everybody by mail that would be affected, which would be households in West Warren, etc. They said I could eliminate one police officer. I wouldn't need one for each side of the room. That alone, I checked with the police department yesterday. Currently, the police payroll per hour is $51 an hour for detail. That's going up to $52 mid next year. So that alone probably saves at least $3,000 just in the calendar year of 2024. And probably upwards of $750 to $800 every single election, depending on how long it takes and what kind of election it is. So that would save a lot of money. I do have to have poll checkers on both sides, but I should be able to, I won't need as many staff because we will all be in the same room and, we could cover if we had to, and we only need to have one warden if necessary. So I expect payroll would be less. Supply costs would be less because they don't have to fully stock polling place B. I always had to fully stock everything because they don't have an office there. If they ran out of a pen, they needed to have well more than what we might need here. We could run upstairs to the closet, so we would be able to share supplies, food supplies, paper supplies, etc. So I have no doubt that they would definitely save money if we were to do that. The second reason would be the mail-in ballots. There are a lot of cross-checking that the state mandates that you do to accommodate mail-in ballots. Last year's 2 elections, we mailed out 600 ballots. The presidential election, 2 years prior to that, we mailed out 1,000 ballots. That's a lot of ballots that, have to be cross-checked if they haven't been received as of the day I print the voter book, which is typically the Friday before the election. Because you have to go to the book, you have to mark the book every time you receive one in the mail, so that no one comes in person and votes, otherwise. When you print the voter list, it shows you all your ballots received with a black X in the box. Anything that comes after the book is printed, you have to manually put a black X in the box every time you receive a ballot, which is all day long, quite frankly, every time we go to the post office, every time we check the drop box. So it's a lot of go to the computer, go to the book, back to the computer. In West Warren, I gotta get on the phone and call them, hope that they answer right away, let them know I just received a ballot. They have to put a black check in that box. If they don't answer the phone, I gotta get in my car and drive over there and do it myself. And then come back and, put the ballot through the computer and eventually back over to West Warren to process it through their machine, because that's what it takes to make sure people don't mail in a ballot, drop it off in the box, and then run around and try to vote in person. Not that anybody has done that, but the theory is to stop anybody from doing that. In addition to that, we received new voting machines, as you know, because you approved that. We got them starting March, brand new election, new voting places. It makes me more comfortable if we can move forward with this, because everyone will be in the same room as we're all learning, not learning, we're gonna have training, but any glitches, any questions, I will be there for both machines, where I can't really be in 2 places at one time, other than back and forth and back and forth. Lastly, I have the numbers. We pretty much have a pretty low in-person turnout over in West Warren lately. That doesn't accommodate mail-in ballots, because that's not walking in and mailing them in. We haven't had anything more than 33% of the voters in West Warren vote, and that's only been in a presidential election. Typically, it's running around 6%, 10%, 15% of the registered voters in West Warren that literally, walk through the door and vote in person. Last election we had this year, only 58 people showed up in a 12-hour day. So, I know that we can accommodate down there. We used to have, there was once upon a time we had town meetings down there where everybody, Warren and West Warren, were here at the exact same time, like 80 people in the room voting on articles. So, there is enough room, and we would never have that during an election, because everybody comes in sporadically throughout the day. We don't have everyone voting all at once. And they shouldn't anticipate longer wait times in the lines they're used to, because one line's gonna be on one side and one line's gonna be on the other. So people who normally go through a quicker line, let's say for polling place B, should still conceivably have that, because they're gonna be 2 separate lines,
Okay.
So that's it in a nutshell. I mean, unless
So,
I'm missing anything major.
My concern is the seniors in West Warren.
Mhm.
Is there a way we can set up, if we did this, we could set up like,
Like transportation?
Transportation.
Well, that's why I have Sharon here. Because
So we can
she
get
has-
transportation to come
We
here.
talked about that, and, that's definitely something that we,
Because I definitely don't want somebody not being able to
Oh, I
vote
agree.
because they can't get here.
I agree.
We're
and,
only a few miles away from the senior center,
Right,
but for somebody that doesn't drive,
right.
that might as well be 1,000 miles.
No, I understand
So-
that. I'm not sure. I worked, the last 2 elections, I was there at the senior center most of the day, and I didn't get the feeling a lot of people were walking there to vote. Like, I do believe most of them show up in a vehicle, which means, they're driving there anyways. And yes, I do agree with that. At the same time, we all vote together, Warren and West Warren. Here in Warren, when we have town meetings, 3 times a year, we all meet together at Quabog, which is not that far from here. That everyone is, we don't have separate town meetings in West Warren either, But I agree. I mean, if we have to set up a shelter 3 times a day, shuttle, where some, maybe we can arrange a pickup.
Can we set
Yeah,
up
they
something?
still are not restricting their way to vote, because there's still early voting, which for A and B is here in the gym. People come and vote from A and B here in the gym for early voting. They have for years now. And they can do mail-in ballots, or they can, we can arrange something for sure.
The elder bus has offered many times to give rides for voting. They're set up for that. We just let them know ahead, and they'll designate one bus specifically for West Warren to get them here and back.
Okay.
We'll have our van, we'll be able to do that as well. And
So we'll be able to give anybody a ride that shows up there.
Yeah, I would think
Back
we could
here.
designate certain times.
Especially
I mean,
for
I don't think
open.
someone's gonna be on call 12 hours, but hey, you know, if I had
Yeah.
even one person call and say I can't get there, I will pick you up myself if I have to, you know?
I'll go pick them up.
You know?
we'll find, yeah, and if we're open, the seniors will come in and we'll be able to bring them from there. And they'll not miss out on their dinner, their lunch, that, you know, some of them, that's their only hot meal for the day, you know?
Well, that
Um,
would be my last thing. I don't see
Yeah.
how this negatively affects the senior center. In fact, Sharon asked if she could speak on that regard, if that's okay.
Yeah, just, it's
you know.
just for
If you
the,
could identify yourself and speak
Sharon
on that
Valley,
regard.
the senior center of the Warren Senior Center. Yeah, no, us shutting down is really hard on the seniors, and you must know.
Well, yeah,
you get
every
a-
election, we have to obviously
You answer the phone for
take
us.
over the senior center for the entire day. I mean, technically, no one really should be
So
in
it
there.
shuts down your services.
Yeah, and our employees aren't really supposed to be working there, I'm sure, so I have to tell them that they take a sick day or
Miss a day's pay,
or miss
yeah.
a day's pay, yeah, which, you know, is kind of rough when it's 4 times a year, but more on the seniors, we get a lot of emergency calls, we get a lot of, ride calls, lunch calls, so their phone, like she said, she can't always get them, because they're calling, the seniors are calling us
Right.
all day, so it's hard to get through, so.
So it's a
Because of all the back
disruption.
and, yeah, because of all the back and forth and the cross-checking, we can't not answer the phone at the senior center. So I always say that that phone rings, you have to answer it, because it could be Leslie calling me because she needs my help, you know?
Right.
So in the last election, I took phone duty, I sat at the desk, the phone rang all day long, and only twice it was Leslie. Everything else, it was a senior center question, which I don't even know the answer to. I can't even direct it to Sharon because she's not there, so I realize people do call the senior center all day, which is why when I call over there to have them check a book and they don't answer, it's because they're probably on the line, and then I have to get in my car and drive over there because I got a ballot and I have to put a black X in the box so that they don't show up in person and then try to vote, you know? Not that anybody tried, don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not saying that,
people
yeah.
are running around doing that, but the state says, just in case, this is what you have to do. And it's not, you know, I'm not even exaggerating, that is literally what we have to do. So just the fact that it involves the Dropbox, the check-in book, and my computer, if I had all those things in one location, it would just be a little smoother, let's say, for lack of a better word. You know, and that's what we have to do, and mail-in ballots are not going away. Like them or not, choose to do it or not, they're not going away. And like I said, we got a presidential year coming up. The state's gonna send a postcard to every registered voter in the town, and a lot of people, many, many, many people check, yes, I want it, mail it in, whether they change their mind or not. They have a right to come to the polling place and not do it, as long as they didn't mail it in to me, which a lot of them didn't do. But because we gotta mail them out, those cross-checks begin the minute that, you know, we mailed that ballot out, to confirm they didn't mail it back. It's the opposite. People show up to vote, and when the book says, oh, I see you requested a ballot, and they say, yeah, I changed my mind. I threw it in the rubbish, I want to vote in person. That's fine, you can. They have to take a seat, and we have to go upstairs and make sure that they're telling the truth, that it's not sitting in the Dropbox, and that we didn't just get it. So it's like the reverse of what we do when we get a ballot. It's the same thing when they choose to vote, which is allowed as long as they didn't mail it in. Once they've mailed it in, then they can vote in person. Once I've accepted it into my computer, all bets are off, you know. So one way or another, they're not getting 2 votes, but it's a lot of checking and cross-checking and, you know.
Okay, so you're looking at, because of disruptions of the senior center, low polling numbers, and financial constraints.
Yeah, I would say yes, and I just
Okay.
think, you know, I think it would just be,
Jeez, guys, hold on a second, I haven't even entertained that yet.
Well, it's 7:15 though, so then.
Oh,
Yeah.
we gotta-
Sorry.
yeah,
We gotta close the meeting.
Motion
I
to
took
adjourn.
all your,
Yeah.
I took all your time, 6:15.
Just joking, right?
Yeah, just joking. I withdraw that motion.
Thank you. All right, do you have anything else to add?
I don't think so. I've been thinking about this all day long, back and forth. I think we've covered it.
Do you want to
Like I said.
cover this, your request,
What is that?
your request for
Oh,
the
well,
gym?
that's just what I said. Jim confirmed it with town council, that all I needed was, you know,
No,
your
no,
vote.
your request
Good
to
time.
have the gym from February to November.
Oh, what about that?
Did you want to bring it up to them?
Yeah, but not right
Oh.
now, that's a
Yeah,
second.
yeah, let's-
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
let's-
sorry.
So, do you have any questions, sir?
No, I don't. I think they made their case.
Okay, do you have any questions, sir?
No questions?
Okay, Mr. Farrar, do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay, does anybody else out in the audience have anything to add? Mr. Condrat?
Joe Condrat.
Well, obviously, it's a state that has changed the rules for how many people you have to have in order to have a separate precinct. West Warren has had a precinct for 150 years at least, but now it's the state that has changed the rules, not the town.
Okay, thank you. Chief.
Can I rebut that though? Bill?
Yes.
We're not changing the precincts. The
Yeah.
precincts aren't
The
going away.
precinct staying.
It's just where people vote, just to be clear. So you'll still be in precinct B in West Warren,
But
precinct A.
it's the amount of population too.
No, but the state
But the
says
tech-
we are exempt from the law
Oh.
due to something that was, a state law. But it doesn't say where that polling place has to be, you know what I mean? That doesn't change. We still have to be separate. I can't change
Alright.
that. Which I think townspeople like to see how A voted, how B voted. My results aren't gonna change. The only thing that's gonna change, it's a big change, but they will be voting here. But everything else, result-wise, they'll still be separated, but they always get totaled together anyways. We still only end up having one vote collectively.
Yeah.
We're not separate on the totals. They're added together as
Right.
usually.
It's just one polling place.
Yeah,
Two districts, one polling place.
right.
Mhm.
We just don't have the numbers, so. Yes, Chief?
Jerry Millett, Police Chief. I just want to say too, this would help me because I have to staff each place. And when I had 14 guys, it was tough doing. Now that I only have 8 or 9, staffing 2 places and shifts is nearly impossible for me. So I'm always running around looking for.
So it's a
staff.
public safety issue too.
Yeah, we have to have a police officer.
Right.
Yeah, you're
at that
required to
polling
have
place,
it.
However many you have, from the minute those, they're
We
required
have
to
to take
come
the
here.
ballots.
They literally have to come here. I stood in the hallway waiting. I can't leave. Once I have my eyes on those ballots until the police officer comes and picks them up to drive them to West Warren. I'm not allowed to take them. So that is why I say we can eliminate one, police detail, because they literally are there from 6:30 in the morning until as long as it takes us to wrap up and drive back over here, which sometimes 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Depends. A local election is quicker, a presidential election could be longer. It could be, that's why I'm saying it's roughly $750 per election. Thank you, Gary. I was gonna say, oh, there goes my detail.
Okay, Chief, did you have anything else?
Nope.
No, that was it? Okay. Does anybody else have anything? Adam?
I'm good with it. I think they made the case.
Right?
Yeah, Ray Capaco, Finance Committee, speaking as Finance Committee, it sounds like if we're gonna save thousands of dollars just simply by police detail elimination, I suspect there'd be some minor expenses incurred if we have to do some transporting and whatnot. But I don't see any downside here other than, the obvious downside is it potentially is gonna tweak a few people who have to drive over to Warren instead of driving to the senior center. There's always no matter what you do, there's always.
Can't make
a
100% of the people
But I
100%
don't,
of the time
I've heard,
happy.
other than that, I've heard nothing but upside, and so I would endorse your giving to the request.
Anybody on Zoom have any questions or objections to it?
Nobody.
Hearing no objections, entertain a motion?
All right, I'll make a motion to relocate the polling place from West Warren Senior Center to the Shepherd Building.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
It is approved. You're welcome. And so you had a request, we'll just get into that now. Well, that wasn't on the agenda though, right?
You don't have to vote on it.
Okay, do you want to talk about your second thing that, since you're here and I know you're busy?
Sure, yeah, it's not, the most crucial thing in the world, but because I typically try to do for the whole year, we have an election in March. I haven't got the word from the state yet on the specifics, but the last time we had a presidential election, we had to have early voting. They're extending the early voting hours, mandatory early voting hours, longer and longer. I suspect Typically for a primary, they're not that long, but for a presidential primary, I'm not sure. So I may have to have the gym set up election-wise, or at least the voting booths, as early as mid-February for that election. So then we have another election in June, we have another one in September, and another one in November. I was just wondering how often, like, people are using it, as far as, once I set the booths up and everything, do I have to keep taking them up and down 4 times, or could I leave them up by way of, my only concern with having the booths there, if people had meetings down there, I don't care that they're up to the side. It's when they have like basketballs and baseballs flying around, then I can't leave my brand new voting boxes down there either, you know, I don't want to.
there's
But they're
been-
heavy, they're on wheels, and now I don't, you know, to get up and down the stairs and into that room that I now store stuff in is, you know, if I can keep them in there off to the side, that would be ideal. Not the electronics, those are always locked up in my closet, but the new black boxes, the voting booths, now I'm gonna have double the amount, because I'm gonna have stuff on each side.
So there's been no requests, I haven't
But I
seen
wasn't
anything
sure.
for basketball, baseball, but we never got a request in the first place
Mm.
when they were using it,
Well,
to use it,
we did when they very first started
when they first,
baseball.
but not, and it's
Not
all
this
over
last
now.
Yeah.
No matter
So-
what, I need to request it for the spring, I mean, for February. It's whether or not you want me to, you know, I could take it down if I have to and put it back up for May. We have one ready to
Well,
begin
the
in
o-
May.
And I know this is most important and dearest to your heart. Will they be able to set up for the haunted house next year?
No, nor did they last year.
Well, I knew
We
on
have already
election season they
communicated-
couldn't.
I know, with Park and Rec, unfortunately, on an odd year, when I have an election, because I have to do early vote, well, they could.
We could have haunted polling.
We could do that. No, I mean, I could get out of there as soon as the election was, you know, I could try to do it in between, but I have to early vote. So to do early voting and then the election, they'd be able to do it early in the month before I have early voting, but they didn't really want to do that, I don't blame them. I mean, they could do it like early October until I have to get in there for early voting, but because I want to be completely handicap compliable, I'd like to early vote in the gym, because and I have to set up the handicap machines, and even if with the ramp, my office isn't set up for that. You know, I've had people say, you know, back in 2016, you early voted in your office, why can't you do that again? Because it's not really handicap compliant to get in my office, around my counter, and get over to the voting machine. So I need to be legal, you know, so I do it in the gym. Whether
Okay.
anybody votes or not early, whether I have 10 people or 100 people, I still have to be compliant with the law.
How does the early voting work? You have the machine set up, or?
Not the voting machines, but I have to have my handicap machine set up. So if you wanted to early vote with the ballot, because it marks the ballot for you. Early voting is kind of like mail-in ballots. You vote, you come, you vote early, and then you put your ballot in an envelope and you seal it and you put it in the bag, and then at the end of each daily session, I lock them up and they all get taken to the polling place on voting day, just like the mail-in ballots do. They're all early voting. It's early voting in person and early voting by mail, technically. But you're not
But nothing's
inserting it-
running through the
No,
machine
machine's
until the
not
day.
there. But other than that, it's no different. People are voting, and their vote has to get signed in an envelope and sealed, and we put it in a bag that is sealed. Actually, now we're using the actual black boxes themselves. They insert it in without the machine because those are locked. And then at the end of the day, at the end of the shift, they gotta unlock it, take them upstairs, enter them all into the computer, so they, you know, so that black X will check on voter day that they voted early, and an EV would print next to their name, and, you know, so they can't then come on election day and vote. No, we already received your ballot, you know.
An early election, or early voting lasts for a period? Is that, so you
Yep,
have to be
it's-
set up?
That's all state mandated, so I have to do it starting in X amount of days, mandatory weekends. The November election was probably 2 weekends, but not all day. I think it was a total of 4 hours a weekend. Again, I haven't got the new laws, it could be more. I don't know yet, they haven't hit me with that yet. But as it is now, it's a mandatory 4 hours a weekend, but you don't have to do both days. So either I can do 4 hours Saturday, or 2 hours Saturday and 2 hours Sunday, you know, however I want to do it. We were choosing to do 4 hours on Saturday instead of 2 and 2. Weekday hours, last year they let us, by way of your vote, you know, only do like X amount of percent. I don't have that number in front of me, because we didn't have a big turnout in September that really warranted, you know, the payroll. And then in November, you know, we cut it down, but November was 2 weeks worth, so it's still a lot of hours. Even if it's 2 or 3 hours every day for 2 weeks, it's better than my open hours, which would be, you know, 8:30 to 3:30 every single day during the week. Not Fridays, because that's not my posted hours. It's my normal hours, but I can cut down weekday hours to a percentage of whatever it was, judging by the numbers, Could be a little bit more this year because it's presidential. I'll have to see. They might not allow me to do that on a presidential. I don't know until I get all that. That's all, those, like I said, election laws are changing every single year.
Could we carve out an area in the gym that would be for voting, and then the haunted house just has to work around that area, like a 10 by 10 square? I don't know.
Well, once they set up the.
Have you been to the haunted house?
Yeah, they got that entire gym.
You could go there.
But
Yeah.
because we give them the entire gym, but if we say you don't have this corner, then, I don't know, would that
Well,
work?
Sue and I already talked about this,
Yeah.
last year when we were trying to figure out, because last year they didn't have a haunted house because I had a November election.
Right.
And she said, maybe we'll just have to plan on it every other year. She said, maybe
Oh.
that's not a bad thing, because people will be more apt to come every other year than every single year, because
It's special.
she could have done it early in October. I needed to get in there for, like I said, for early voting I don't, but I still have to have the, my ready to go for the first Tuesday in November, and, the haunted house is typically, that's only like a 4-day window, but,
Yeah, no, that is tight, yeah.
if they really, really want to do that, we can work with it, but I have to do early voting, and I don't even know what those, they could tell me I have to do it for 3 weeks this year. I have no idea. I'm hoping not, but that could be the case. So I don't know. I
Most
don't know
likely
any
it's
of
just not
that.
gonna happen.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Usually they have a different set for a primary and an election. Presidential could be different, I really don't know. Maybe we'll be doing it in August, I really don't know. I'm just kidding, I hope not.
All right, so every other year is the haunted house.
Every other year for the haunted house, that's what I just thought was a given. If that's, we can,
We can do the haunted house at the senior center.
Probably.
That
That would be very interesting.
would be cool.
Yeah, that'd be
It's
great.
always a thought. And because you did bring up that we have new voting machines, they are brand new, we have not used them yet.
Nope.
There's been brought up in the meetings, well, they're susceptible to hacking or whatever. They are not.
Nope.
There's no Wi-Fi access,
No, he
and
confirmed
they're
that
not
for
hooked
me
up to the
A few
internet.
weeks ago, I had to meet with him, he delivered my machines, he showed us how to use them, he showed us how to use them, we had probably an hour demo, but we're gonna have a training with the election workers, but even, I asked him, and then Leslie asked him, because she wasn't there at that very moment, are these, how does this go? He said, they're not, you cannot hack into them because they don't have, they work off a memory card, a preset memory card you put in. There is no Wi-Fi. It's not like a computer that somebody can hack into. He said there's absolutely no way that's not the kind of machine that, you cannot do that. That's what he told us, and,
Very good.
that's the machine guy. That's not the elections people, that's what he
The guy
said.
is-
So I was like, good, thank you. I knew that, but these were new machines, so I just wanted to confirm that was the same like the ones we have. They work off a memory card. Which gets programmed to match the ballot, so that, different memory card every election to coincide with the ballot.
Okay, very good. Do you have anything else?
No.
No, sir.
And, yeah,
I'm free to go.
elections take priority, so we gotta adapt to whatever you need.
I
So-
can take it down and put it back up every single time. I'm just wondering how many people, might have it reserved. I get that.
We don't have anything reserved right now.
Uh-uh.
Not that far in the future.
Well, I
Okay.
think she's first in line.
Yeah, you're first in
I'm
line
first in
for.
line for,
Well, you
yeah, for
just
February,
reserved.
March. If we need to deal with that per election,
Yeah.
we'll
We got
figure
it.
it out, we'll take it down, put it out, or get it off to the side, or,
The election's a
do whatever.
priority. Everything else if we can, and we can,
Yeah,
you know?
2024 is a big year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Odd years are our friends, what can I say?
And they're gonna talk about Lorraine, did you wanna stay for that?
Lorraine?
For hours.
Leona, sorry.
Leona.
Oh,
Leona.
I'm like, is she talking to me? Do I even know anybody named Lorraine?
The senior tax
Oh,
abatement.
Sure.
Leona.
All right, so moving on.
Is that nice?
Discussion on accepting the hours for Leona Rubel for the senior tax work-off abatement. Anticipated vote. Okay. And we got the required
Oh my God, I
hours,
printed all of these?
right?
Holy shit. Wow.
Have we added them up?
Mm-hmm,
And what did we come up for a total?
50,
And how much do we need?
50.
Okay. All right, do you have any questions? Do
I do not.
you have any questions, sir?
Nope.
Mr. Fryer, did you have anything to add?
No, I do not.
Did you have anything to say? No? Okay. Motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the hours for Leona Roble for the senior tax work-off program.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. They're accepted. Very good.
Thank you, thank you, and thank you. Okay. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, ladies. Third thing on the agenda, review the articles that were tabled, number 10, 11, 12, 14, 20, 24, and 34, for meeting for special town meeting, anticipated vote. Okay, nothing's changed on the others, right?
No.
And we're looking at number
Article
10.
10
Oh, you
first.
highlighted them all. Nice. So, number 10 is to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $18,900 for 28 weeks of cleaning services for the Shepherd Building, Police Station, Fire Station, Senior Center, and Highway Garage, or take any action relative thereto. Finance Committee recommends. Okay, did you have anything on this one?
So this will get us until May.
Okay.
The article before us, before 9, will pay for the services up until the special. So
Okay.
this would carry us for services until May. And then if the custodian was to come back before then this would just, our services would stop and the, would return to free cash calculation at the end of the year.
Okay. Did you have any questions?
No, okay, so the Article 9 you said is just past the special,
Right.
and then 10 is for the rest of the year.
Well, till May. So.
Well, yeah.
May would give us
Oh, May,
an
okay.
option to maybe do another line item transfer
At the-
if needed.
Okay. Okay, yeah, no questions.
Okay. Did you have any questions? Good?
I think we're good.
Yep, good, all right, so we're good for 10. Good. 11, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $9,000 to purchase 3 electronic speed signs for the town of Warren, or take any action relative thereto. And then Finance Committee does not recommend this one. Do you have any questions on that?
No.
We were looking, the change was from 1 sign to 3 signs, because we have 3 areas of concern, and we were looking to cover those areas for safety. We were looking at, so Chief, 2 on South Street for the school, because again, as you well know, and I well know, people speed on that road, because it feels like it feels like a road that should be faster than it is. It's posted for 30, and people frequently go fast on that road. So we're looking at putting the 2 speed signs, 1 at each end, to give people warning. And then the 3rd sign would be by the senior center, because there's been frequent accidents in that area. So that's why we're looking at 3. Huh?
There's one just,
You're going that way.
all the opposite.
The other way. So. Did you have any questions about that?
No.
Did you have any questions about it?
No, sir.
Okay. Do we know why FinCom did not recommend?
I don't want to speak for FinCom, but I do want to remember the conversation. You know, I guess, you know, it's the FinCom's understanding that Warren Community Elementary School, there's no walkers, right? So there's no, everybody's bussed in. So that was a concern as to, you know, for sending those signs up on South Street. You know, there's no walkers there. So that was one of the issues that they mentioned. Another issue that they mentioned is, you know, they wanted to see some more data. I don't know, Ray. I mean, if you wanted to.
Yeah, Ray Capaco, Finance Committee. Well, there were a variety of reasons. Number one, just is while there's an appreciation for the desire for safety concerns, I don't want to be dismissive of that. But yet, does the town actually really need them? We have 5 units already. They can be relocated. I know it's a little difficult to take the ones that are, quote, permanently mounted to relocate them, but it really isn't that much of a deal to relocate them if they really felt there was a need to get some data from other areas in town. From our research on it, it looks like they do have some efficacy, especially for, let me get the wording right here, transition areas. So it's the incoming into town on 67 from both the east and the west, you're going from 50s down to 30s. The studies have shown that does have efficacy, and I think anecdotally, you'd probably get a lot of people confirming that yeah, that is helpful. Even people who aren't inclined to speed, it's just easy to be caught unawares that before you know it, you're in a 30 zone and you're still going 40, 42 maybe, you know, that kind of a thing. So because we already have 5 units, it is unwieldy to get the data from them. It's not an easy process to get the data. You have to get on a ladder to get up there, plug in a cord, and there's some question as to I had a conversation with Chief about it, and I didn't press it too far to really understand exactly when that data is retrievable, how easy is it to get a report out of it. But the fact of the matter is they're not readily, I'd rather see money get spent on adapting the current radars so that you can get the data readily and actually get trends readily and easily, and then let law enforcement, based on that trend data, you know, act on it or not act on it, depending on what they're finding in the trending. And then there is one last, it seems like the initiative comes from the Selectmen. It seems that it would be more appropriate if this was coming from police. Instead of it coming from free cash, that amount of money, it should be coming from a police budget line item instead of a free cash item. Those were most of the rationales that the Finance Committee had.
Okay. Chief, do you have anything to add on this?
So after I spoke with Mr. Capaco, I put Officer Bouchard on him, and the newer ones we have, we can now, we used to have to do the cord like I was talking to you.
Yeah.
We got a tablet and those to download. The movable one that we had out here, that one's, we can't communicate, that one has to be a cord
It's
all
an
the time.
older one.
That's an older one. So
That's the one we got.
do have the capability now to, so actually the other day he went around to each sign, and I think we changed some of the wording on some of them. If you see by we changed the wording there. We changed the one in West Warren too. So actually, with his phone call, it got us to work on the Wi-Fi things.
Okay. So you're generating reports now from?
Yeah, so that now we can do that easily with the newer ones, not this one. This one has to come down and we have to hook up a cord to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So is this something that would benefit you guys to have more in those areas?
I think they do help, like Mr. Capaco was saying, like, where they are, those are problem areas. Coming from the 50, coming down,
Yeah.
it goes so slow, and especially on Southbridge Road, how many times have people come down that one area and not even thinking that it's a 25, and it is, so when it flashes at you, it does get you. We put one by the school in Quabog because there's a gentleman there that complains about speeding all the time. And actually, when he pulled the data yesterday, 98.8% of the vehicles are going under 40 miles per hour on that sign.
The sign's also a deterrent,
Right.
because when it warns you,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you kind of slow down and it forces you, because it gets your attention when, you know, it's real easy, like you said, it's easy to get complacent because you're going from 50 miles an hour to all of a sudden 30. And if you're not paying attention, you're in that 30-mile-an-hour zone real quick. And having something be there and be that, hey, slow down, you know, and this is your speed, it kind of gives you a heads up to slow down and really kind of do what you're supposed to be doing. And we just had a kid get hit on a bike right over there in that area, right on
South
the
Street?
South Street. So that's what we're looking at, South Street. So, and that was a concern because people frequently speed there. And I know going back and forth to the dump, I see people fly down that road. And it's a wide road, you would think it's faster, and it's just not.
I guess when you put it that way, a lot of times they have one guy on the road. So maybe the signs are a second guy.
The signs are, and we don't have to pay them. We just buy the sign, and it warns people. And if it can save one kid's life that's riding his bike,
Yeah, I know, but.
and we've already had an accident there, do we wait for the next one?
Finance Committee's recommendation was that the $9,000 would be better appropriated in other ways, that's all. So,
Okay.
we have units, we can move if we need to. That was the primary rationale. Is there a need to spend the money? And the answer to that, from the Finance Committee's perspective, is no, not when we already have 5 units we can use. They can be shuffled.
It's really not that easy to take them down because
The
they're
ones with solar
strapped to
panels
the
on.
post.
This
Huh?
one's not bad, actually. I
But
borrowed
that's
his
not
truck
the
the
one
other
that
day.
takes the data though, right?
I brought his truck to put them up, and people actually waved to me. It was nice. That one takes about 20 minutes. The solar panel ones, those are a pain,
Because there's 2 attachments, right?
and it has to go up higher. The solar panel.
So it's not easily,
But now
you
the,
can't easily just take them down.
now highway
put 'em
department
somewhere else.
has a backup to go up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, now we have a bucket truck.
That would make it easy. Do we really have a bucket truck?
Yeah, your bucket truck now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See what you missed?
Yeah.
And they get all kinds of grants too. And we're like, we really hope Jerry's working on a grant on his birthday. By the way, happy birthday there.
Thank you.
Well, by the way, happy birthday to you
Oh,
last
thank you.
Happy
week.
birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Everybody's birthday.
Not me.
So do we still support it without FinCom's agreement? I do. I think it's still a good option. They do reduce people's speeding. We do have problem areas, and we don't have enough cops to keep in all those areas all the time. And we gotta do our due diligence for safety, you know? We've had accidents, we have accidents often out by the senior center in that area, along the stretch of road. And then South Street, it's a speeding problem. They're always speeding on there, you know? I see a need for it. I don't know what you guys feel.
I see the need for them, and also I would say, if we're gonna start moving them around, which one are you gonna take down? Because I think the one on 67, both on 67 need to be permanent. And probably the one on Southbridge needs to be permanent, because,
Well, and that's the
Those are
thing,
the
they
key
do
areas.
deter,
yeah,
those are hot zones too. And do you
So-
take from one area
yeah, I wouldn't do that.
and, you know, you're taking it and then you're moving it to another location, and now that area doesn't have the warning,
Yeah,
and people really depend on it. And I'll tell you right now, every time I drive by where Derek's house is there and that one, and I see the speed, and I watch people that are in front of me, and they'll jam their brakes on and slow down. It's almost like that thing is like, you're gonna get a ticket, you know, if you don't slow down. but it warns people, it slows them down.
Yeah.
You know, it does do its job. And if you're saying, you know, by the time they make it to the sign, you know, their speeds are down, that just says they're working, you know? Do you see them working?
I noticed myself coming down, like, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
And I can see all the old people just coming home from work, not paying attention, and that sign flashes at you. Mhm.
I agree. No, I think it's I personally support it. I think it's a good thing to have. I think they do work to some extent. I mean, Old West Brookfield Road's a good example. We have a lot of accidents all the time. You know, there's one out there. And quite honestly, I think it gives the people that live on those problem areas a little bit of peace of mind. That's my opinion.
And if anything, if, God forbid, anything ever happens out there again, at least we can say, we're doing what we can. You know, we're warning people, we're putting signs up, we're telling them, don't speed. We got police details out there, you know, there's only so much we can do, and there's only so many cars we have. You know? What's your thoughts, sir?
Okay, so for the record, we haven't paid for 5 radar detectors, only for 3. Then I agree with with FinCom about the fact that the school, the elementary school, there are no walkers. But I drove my kids for many years over there. And if you see the people who walk that road in the morning, if you see the people who are there watching the eagles or the birds, or once me that I stopped for a turtle and almost got ran over by a speeding car, you know, it makes sense. And we had, going in the other direction, we got the kid with the bicycle. So it definitely, it's a plus for the security. Yeah, the new ones have an app to get the data. And I think it just helps people realize, you know, that we follow the rules, right? I didn't move to this country not to follow the rules. I do follow them. I think it's a good thing, and we're trying to do our best to keep, you know, if we can only save one life,
It's worth it.
it's a lot worth. I also agree with, you know, in the future with the FinCom that probably we work it out so it comes from the police. You know, it kind of makes a little sense. This wasn't a something that we initiate because it was just incredible. You know, cars almost double speeding the speed limit, where you have 6 or 10 kids and 5 dogs and chickens running on the road. So, you know, it's the same fact that why we are here, because something was happening on the town and we had to step up and try to make it work. And so far, that's what we've been doing, trying to make things work for the town. So I always support that.
So we're gonna keep it.
Keep it.
Good?
I'm good.
All right, so we're good. 10, 11, 12, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $30,000 to commission a management assessment study for the Quabog Regional School District as approved at the May 9th, 2023 annual town meeting, or take any relative action thereto. And FinCom does not recommend this one. I still support it because I think it's important for us to identify issues that we have over there. And the only way we can have that is to have a third party go in and investigate it and do the footwork. It will cost up to $30,000. Nobody's saying it's gonna be $30,000, but it could be around that amount. And whatever information we can get could best assist us in future negotiations with the schools and agreements, because it would help us identify where things could be better done, and have evidence of that. So I think it would be good. The town did vote for us to do this assessment. And I think it would only be just to be able to, even though FinCom doesn't recommend it, to at least allow the town to vote to say, yes, we're good with this amount. If they say no, then obviously we can't do the study.
Mhm.
But if they say yes, then we'll get as much information we can and try to do the best we can. And do you have any questions about it?
No,
Mr. Chairman, if I may, FinCom wasn't necessarily opposed to the idea, okay? FinCom was opposed to it as of right now. And it's gonna, as I mentioned at the previous meeting, it's gonna take some time to really work with the school district to get some buy-in to do something like this. The Collins Center, I circled back around with my contact over there. They are totally convinced that this is not worth the time or the money if the school department will not have some level of cooperation. And so I think the FinCom would support this. And if we, maybe table this until the annual, it will give us some time to have a discussion and to create a scope for the town and for the district to agree on that scope of services, then I think it would be best done that way.
Well, to be honest, I think the annual would be too much time would have gone by. And the reason why is because we're in the process of a regional agreement.
Mhm.
And the soonest that they can vote on a regional agreement is in the annual. So most likely, a regional agreement's gonna be hitting that annual meeting the same time before we get this approved to have that information. And it would be valuable for us to have this information to know, points of negotiation.
Mhm.
To look at that, if there's a way we can do that.
Mhm.
Because we really need to have some facts in front of us, and the school has been very hesitant to share anything with us, and that's been going on for years now, and I don't think they're gonna change that.
Mhm.
Because they just don't wanna share information. We've all tried, FinCom's tried to get information from them, we've all tried to get information from them, and they don't share the information. They don't feel they need to be transparent to us, because they have their own committee. I support this because at least it would give us something to go to the town with and show. If we have some data, some information, and if we can't, we can't. But it'd be nice to have the money available, so if perchance they turn around and there's a change of heart and they say, something, we'll accept we'll give them access. Then we can go forward. If we can't go forward, then the money's still there. At least we committed it to do this when we can get all parties agreeable to do it. But if we don't approve the money and we don't get anybody, we don't make any movement towards it. So if they agreed to it today, we couldn't do it anyways because we don't have the money. But if we had the money there, and they finally turned around and said, something, we'll do it. We understand. We'll let you do your audit or whatever. Then at least we have the money available and say, okay, we're gonna go forward with this, move forward and get them in there and do it. But by not having it on there, I think wait until the annual town meeting, it's probably gonna be too late. Because again, we're probably gonna have a regional agreement on that, and that regional agreement's gonna be good for 20 more years. So,
But, on this particular article, a regional agreement wouldn't necessarily have any exposure of the management assessment. Some of these things that the Collins Center does are, analysis that are, the financial end of the of the operation, you know, that house of that operation. They would look at it and to see if is it properly staffed? Are they doing the proper reports? Could they be getting some additional reimbursements from the state if they did this or moved this around? These things are things that the Collins Center would look at. They may not necessarily look at a regional agreement.
Well, then, I'm not saying look at the regional agreement. They're gonna look at the staffing and the management practices and cost that, you know, compared to the school currently. What the school committee is proposing is adding a whole new school district into us from North Brookfield. And if we can't get our own affairs in order, how can we bring in a new school district?
Mm-hmm.
And if we're not managing what we need to be doing right,
Mm-hmm.
why does it make sense to bring somebody else into that, another broken system, into a system that is or isn't running correctly? So the only way we can find that out, because they won't talk to us, they won't give us the information, is to have a study done. Somebody that can do this and give us that data. And then it gives it to the people. It gives it to the residents. So if a regional agreement pops up for the annual, we're not going in there uninformed thinking everything's fine and dandy and everything's going great. You know, we could sit there and say, hey, we just had a study and we have a lot of things we gotta fix before we move on and try to bring somebody else into our, you know, into our agreement here. It just gives us data and the information.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, once we go to that meeting, you're like, well, we never heard of any issues. Well, because we couldn't properly investigate anything, because we weren't given access. So, if anything, it gives the town the ability to vote on it at the special, so we have the money available, whether we use it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'd like to have the money there available, so we can, if we can get the study going, at least we have the money so we can move forward and go forward with that. That's my
Also,
argument.
I think what's interesting at a higher level is if the town if the citizens are willing to commit $30,000, that means they want this as much as we do.
Right.
I mean, we're obviously pushing this, so it can be seen as political or what the three of us want, but if the townspeople approve this, then they're saying, yes, we gave you permission at the annual, now we're giving you the money, we wanna see this done. So I think it'll, and then, maybe the next step is like from the Collins Center is to come up, what are all the aspects of this type of assessment? Cause, maybe the school doesn't understand exactly what
Right.
could come out of this. I mean, you said,
It
right,
could be for
maybe-
their benefit.
right,
It could
maybe
very
they,
It could
they
say, you're understaffed, you need more teachers, you need this, you need that.
or like the grant opportunities, maybe they'll find like 2 or 3 grant opportunities that nobody's thought of, or, you know,
Mhm.
there may be a lot of positives to this.
Right.
Right.
I know it sounds like we're bashing the school, but it just, there could be a lot of good things that come out of it, so.
No, I definitely think it's a great tool to use, and I think that the Collins Center would be the ones that could do a really nice job with the study. But this person just made it clear to me that if there's no cooperation, the Collins Center may just not even be
Well, we
interested.
need to try to work on that cooperation and get it, because obviously the town wants it, because they voted for it.
Mhm.
Well,
They said, yes, we want this to go through, we want this study. Okay, so who is the school to say no to the town now? You know, the town voted on it, it passed, and they wanna see the study done. We gotta fund the study now. That's our part. I say we fund it, $30,000. If $30,000 could save us $100,000 or $200,000, that's well spent right there. If it can get us aid to other grants, great. You know, or it might work the other way and say, hey, you guys are severely understaffed and you need to bring on another 20 teachers. Oh, okay, at least we have the data now, so when we go to the town, and the school could actually say, hey, the town's own study, their own independent study, said we need 20 more teachers. Boom. And we couldn't even argue that, because it's not the school saying it, it's an independent study saying it. So, yeah, I still support it, even though FinCom doesn't. What's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, we do respect the vote of the people. Because if we don't follow up, there's gonna be the question of, oh, what happened to this article that we voted? Now you did nothing.
Yeah.
You guys never followed through on it.
So at least it's there because it's a follow-up from the past. I understand it could be negative from the school because it looks like somebody's trying to see how you're doing things. But if we can show them that this is something like it's gonna give us a better idea how you can do it better, and like you said, if suddenly we need 10 more teachers, 10 more administrations, and everything, and then there's something that we can, based on and support it.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing could be going the other way around. It is a difficult thing because it feels like we're invading. But at the same time, it's offering like a tool. I don't know. It's hard to explain it because, we are not looking where you did bad. We're trying to, see where things are going and where we can do better. That's it. I mean.
And the town submitted to one of these. We did our own, and they found a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
And we
from-
corrected it, and it made us better.
From the DOR,
Yeah,
Department of.
Department of Revenue
Of
came in
Revenue,
and did
right.
a study, and they found a bunch of stuff, and we corrected the stuff. We fixed things, and I think it actually improved the town.
We still have things we need to work on.
We still have
too.
things to work on,
There's a big
too.
list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it gave us a check sheet to look at and say, ooh, didn't even think of that. Oh, maybe we gotta do that better. Or this is low hanging fruit. We could easily take care of this, this, and this,
Mhm.
and fix these things. So,
I mean, the worst thing it could be is that it goes to a no, and that's it.
yeah.
Right, they don't wanna spend the money, and then that's,
So
it's kinda dead.
I'm still supporting it.
Yeah, I support it still.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay,
we-
so
we-
we're still supporting it as it is. And we're gonna move forward with that. even
Remember,
though
it
FinCom
was-
doesn't.
It was on the previous meeting.
Did you have anything to say about that one, Ray?
No, I think Jim addressed it pretty well.
Okay.
It's gonna be very, the rationale was like town administrator said. If the study can't be done with the degree of involvement if it's gonna be met with resistance from the school, and we're not gonna get full cooperation, the value of the study is severely limited.
Right.
Obviously, it'll have some value, but it's not the value that the $30,000 is intended to provide. I appreciate the notion too, that it could be to the school's advantage, so that would be a selling point. And now, just speaking personally, not on finance committee, the ill will that is still present between the school committee and the Warren Select Board needs to be addressed aggressively. And until there's an improvement with that, you're never gonna get the cooperation from the school. And, and so, if a study, if there was a moderate amount of cooperation, and the study was in favor of the school, then so be it, as was already mentioned. If it wasn't, the school's just gonna completely discredit it as, they're gonna, it will be viewed as a political power play. It will be viewed as intrusive. Right now, it will be, unless that, like I said, unless the relational factor has some kind of dramatic attention to improve it. Just even the notion of, well, none of this applies because in a year or two, when the regionalization occurs, it completely discredits this study. It's just an example of one way that the school committee will discredit it if it's not favorable to them in any way. So I'm personally, I would love to see a real study done. And just, let's call spades a spade, and it could very well be in the school's favor. And that's fine. And if that's the case, then so be it.
Yeah.
I don't know anything personally about the Collins Institute. I'm only taking town administrators, they've spoken very highly of them, and I'm just taking his word because he looks into these things and knows about them, that they would do a very fair and objective job on it. On that presupposition, I'd love to have a study done. But now, speaking from the Finance Committee again, the last thing is just simply, if it's not gonna be an effective, appropriately conducted study, then it might not be appropriate to spend the money at this time.
Well, that's the thing, the money wouldn't be spent. It'd be just put there, and if we don't use it, we don't use it.
Right.
But if we can use it to get the study done, get it done,
Yeah,
then we have the money available. All this is making the money available to do the study.
I understand.
We still gotta get the study done, and it'd be nice. I would love to have the cooperation of the school and have everything nice and transparent and just share information. We can work with somebody that shares with us and talks with us, but it's hard to talk to somebody when the conversation's only one side and then you get shut down. And it's like, okay, well,
I understand.
you can't get any information from you. We're just asking for info. So it's difficult. And you've seen you've seen it too, and it's frustrating. And I don't think anybody has ill will or or anger towards the school. I think it's more frustration, and we're just trying to do the right thing and make sure that we're doing our due diligence for the community, because it's the community's money. It's all our taxpayer money. And when you keep on asking for more and more above minimum contribution, we want to justify it. And when you don't justify it, and you say, well, we don't have to justify it to you. Okay, when everybody else does. If Adam came to us and said, hey, I need more money, okay, why? Lay out why you need this money and show us the evidence and show us what it's going to cost. He has no problem doing that. Any department will do it. They're the only ones that we constantly get kicked back on, and nothing. This is our budget. That's what we're gonna. That's what we need. That's it. And no explanation why. So we just happen to be the ones that are asking the questions now, and I think that's caused some strife. So. You have anything?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
It's gonna be like trick or treat, lights are on, but you trick or treat, nobody comes out, we move to the next one.
Anything else, Ray?
No.
No. And thank you for all you're doing it with the FinCom too. We understand, and we knew you were the right guy to do it.
Yeah, just-
Even though we don't agree with FinCom
Well,
on everything, but you
No,
guys are
that's-
doing a good job.
And that's, I think that's an important distinction too. FinCom is just simply an advisory.
Mhm.
there's, our collective position was that it might not be the best thing to move forward with this at this time, like Jim said. And so, we're just an advisory role. There's no offense if you don't like our advice.
No, and we value your opinion and stuff, and.
Yeah, it's valuable many times to get contrasting opinions, so.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you very
Check
much.
and balance.
Sure.
That's right. All right, so we're still supporting that one
Okay.
as a board, right?
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. And then on to Article 14, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $1,627.70 to Architectural Insights, Inc. for prior fiscal year bills for the town hall window replacement project, or to take any action relative thereto. Now, last time we talked is, I don't think we owe these people this money because we were all set with this project, and they didn't come from, since 2020 to now, asking about these bills. And I'm pretty sure we paid them everything, right, Chief?
I don't know who is. Is
So-
that the company
They're the
from-
architects that were doing the windows at the old town hall.
These were just for design services.
Right.
Did we get any more detail from them,
Wait,
or?
can I speak?
Yes, ma'am. Because I think I know where this is coming from. Is this coming from the change? Did they give you any input on it?
No.
That, that's what I
That's
was
coming
gonna
from the
say.
change
This is
for the
coming
shims?
From the shim change and the type of material, because they couldn't get the type of material that we wanted, so we had to change that. That's why there is a trip charge. I went through and looked at these, and there's a trip charge in here where they had to come out and meet with us. Remember, they gave us all those different types of window. We had to pick which color we wanted, and
Yeah,
then the
because
door.
they couldn't get the windows
Correct.
that they originally were doing.
They're-
Well, for
they're-
the
they're
shims, because they had to put
final.
shims
Oh,
into the
okay,
windows.
give me that.
But the argument is that should have been built into the cost.
Right.
And they're like, well, we couldn't have factored everything in there. And it's like, well, we hired you to put the windows in. That's what you were put in for.
And then the materials, they couldn't get the materials because.
So there was
of
an
the
argument back and forth if we
Yeah.
even owed them the money.
But this is for design services. This has nothing to
Right.
do with
Yeah,
materials.
because
Well,
Lobster
it
Roach was
does,
the.
because the windows that we designed, they couldn't get the materials to do it, so they had to pick out a different materials and redesign the windows. And redesign your door.
But we hired the
glass door.
architect to put in everything, and they did everything. They're the ones that were supposed to measure and make sure everything was all set and put everything in.
The architect was the installer too?
No, they were running the project,
Oh, okay.
so.
But still, I mean, the last work was in September of '21. Why
Right.
didn't we get billed in October or November of '21? I don't know.
I
They
didn't
didn't-
see any of these bills. I think
They,
they
all of a
just-
sudden, this is popping up now. And I think what it is because
You know,
they weren't
almost 2 years
arguing
later.
it, and they sat there and said, well, we'll wait it out, and then we'll resubmit it later on and see if they pay for it.
Well, that was.
So I think we
That
should
was a-
argue with them and say, hey, prove we owe it. Because I really don't think we owe them the money. You know, and if you can't get them, if they can't prove that we owe this money, I'd say, for what services were done on what day to warrant this payment?
Well, it says right here,
I mean,
service.
that's what
It says
this
the
is.
date and it says CAD
Yeah.
work, which is computer aided design.
No?
You know, the bills that tells you.
No, because the only thing that was a change that they were arguing with us about was the shims. Everything was already paid for and taken care of. I really question this bill, because they waited, 2 years to submit it to us again?
Well, they were originally submitted back when they were due. They were submitted in '21. September, looks like there was a bill. July of '21 there's a bill. March 21, there's a bill.
Yeah, and I think we argued that because it was
January
all,
21, a bill.
that was all
That's true.
inside the price.
And October 31st of 20, there was a bill. And then there was a rebill of all of the bills there.
Okay, they did do invoices back when they should have. Why didn't,
I mean, I would imagine that, I guess that this is a smaller firm. Maybe they're, maybe they don't have a lot of people doing billing that sends them out all the time as other companies would.
Well, it could have also happened, because this is about the same time I came on. Priscilla was already in the other room. The invoices could have just fallen through the cracks too.
I don't know. Have you called them
Yes,
and what they say?
town owes the bills.
And do we have anything saying that we paid any of this?
I checked with the accountant said these invoices were never paid.
I just hate to pay for something again, or that we didn't even have them do.
do we have copies of whose invoices?
So,
Is this a copy from
Right there.
our pile?
No, this is a copy that was mailed to Jim for all these.
So where are the copies that they
I
sent
don't
us?
know.
The originals?
The originals that we would have gotten, in March
Those originals
21,
Back.
July 21, right?
Here's all the originals.
When they would have been mailed,
Oh,
because in those years,
I mean, they're dated, but I don't,
yeah, but that,
you're right.
I think another way is I'll have Tammy work up a whole report on this name, so I can see every bill, because I found a whole bunch of bills, but they were all for other things, they weren't for the windows.
yeah, because, well, I have a lot of reservation with this, the bills on this.
Okay, you don't have to put the article on if you don't want to.
No, I'm just, if we owe it, we owe it, but I think we need to really investigate it and see if we owe it, because I don't wanna pay money that we don't owe.
Right, but what?
And just because they're saying it, there was a lot of issues with that whole project.
Okay.
That was before you got on, you remember, Jerry? There was a lot of concerns, there was a lot of stuff going on.
A lot of
and
remeasurements and.
that was all done by the previous selectmen
Oh,
that were on, and when I got on, there was a lot of concern because, yeah. Previous things were being done that were not kosher. Yes, sir.
so calling the attention because they say architects at night.
Hmm?
I became an architect many years ago. But it says, looks like there are 18 hours charged to this. The description is not very clear either. Principal CAD. CAD is computer aided design.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's a rate of, $8 an hour or so. No, the rate is $92 an hour, and we're talking about 18 hours. In 18 hours, I can do a lot of plans. So if he's charging for plans, because that's the computer aided design principle, can we see the plans at least?
Yeah.
Because
And-
then what
And
did you
these-
do in half a week?
This was prefabricated windows. The windows weren't designed special. They were prefabricated windows. They're supposed to be architecturally significant to the building because the building is a historical building. They're not. They were supposed to match the architecture of the building. They don't do that. And they mismeasured the windows, and they had to put shims in them. And it's like, they're like, well, you guys gotta pay for that. I'm not paying for you. You guys measured the windows. You guys, it's your project. You said it would cost us this much. We're giving you that much. And they made mistakes. And they wanted us to pay for them. And I got a feeling this is coming from that. Without saying anything on TV, I just don't believe we owe that money. And if we do, I'd like to see why we owe that money. And we need to do more research. If they're saying architectural design for CAD, well, what did you design? Because all they are is pre-ordered windows. They just measured the size and said, we need this window, and they put them in. So what's pre-designed?
Can I ask, why did FinCom recommend this? Is it just because it's a past bill and we should pay our bills kind of thing, or?
Pretty much.
Okay.
It seems, with all due respect, Chair, it should be easy enough for us to show that we didn't pay the bill.
Hmm?
That's a knowable thing. You work with the accountant, you go back and you look. And there's no evidence that we paid the bill. And if we owed the bill, then we should pay it.
But just
That's
because
it.
somebody says we owe it, doesn't
So-
mean,
No, I understand. That's a different issue, though.
yes.
And so why would someone, it's a credible claim. If I sent you a bill for my services to the town, that's not a credible claim. What do I do, what would I offer the town? And I could make up something, but that would be silly and all, et cetera, et cetera. But this is a firm that was contracted with, who was the point of contact?
Mark
from the town?
Richards.
Pardon me?
Mark Richards.
Okay, so Selectmen.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, the selectmen are executive agency for the town. And I know that's not you guys personally, it's not a personal thing. But if a former selectman encumbered the town with a legal agreement and we owe the money, then we pay our bill. We've been through this a number of times at town meetings, and I'll say the same thing again this year. If it comes up and it's any debate, and we get one vote shy of 9/10, it's gonna be, what's the matter with you people? If you were owed a bill, you would expect to be paid. So that's my personal position, and that's my position as a finance committee. So if we owe this bill, and there's no evidence that we don't, other
Right.
than your conjectures that this was mismanaged and misbungled and whatnot, that may be, but that's a separate issue from a legitimate bill that's been offered by a contractor to the town. We either owe the bill or we don't. And I'd say it's incumbent on you to show why we don't owe the bill.
Mhm.
Now, you can ask your town administrator to work with the finance team under him to get to the bottom of it. You could ask him to recontact the outfit and try to get it laid out, but it seems from the finance committee's perspective, it's a legitimate bill, we owe it, we pay it. So the last thing I'm gonna ask is, how did this even get on if it was so questionable that we even owe the money, how did it get on the warrant? Or it's not on the warrant yet, I know. How did it get proposed to be on the warrant?
That was a previous bill that was brought to your attention, so you added it to the warrant.
Okay. So all this
We're
all this
looking at it
debate
now and saying, okay, because we had concerns with it last week, and we need to look into it more. And I do think we need to look into it a little more, for this particular bill, because I do have concerns with this one.
I can appreciate.
And
that,
I don't
understand.
wanna be spending the town's money when,
I don't want you spending the town's money if we don't know the bill either. But the evidence that we have in front of us when we met Tuesday was that this is a legitimate bill.
Mhm.
It has been investigated to some certain degree, maybe it needs more. But if, it appears that we owe this bill, and so then we say, then pay it. But I can't even remember what we actually concluded, other than it was being disputed, and I think the consensus of the committee was simply, then just don't, I don't think we even made a recommendation. If it's gonna be disputed.
Well,
I-
FinCom,
to be
you
honest, I
said
forgot.
FinCom recommends.
We initially did, but then on discussion this past Tuesday, the initial vote on the 17th was to recommend to pay the bill. There was further discussion on this past Tuesday, and I think we finally just kind of like, listen, if the select board wants to put it on, then let them put it on. If they don't want to put it on, then don't put it on. And, you know, we'll go through we'll sort out the dispute of the bill having legitimacy without it going to the town.
Right.
So I think we just kind of threw our arms up about it and just said, if we owe the bill, then pay it. It's that simple.
And I agree, if we owe it, we
Right.
pay it.
So if
But I honestly,
So can I make a suggestion, and we can like,
Yeah.
maybe dispense with this? Let's take it off and earmark it for the special in May.
Okay.
And then we have 6, 8 months, whatever the time is, to figure it out. I mean,
Yeah, 'cause
obviously,
I
it's
would
already
really like to
2
know
years
more
in
about it.
arrears,
Yeah,
another 6 months, whatever.
So it'll be the special in June.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
it the special in June, so have it ready to go, and we've got time now, because I don't know that we're gonna get a whole lot resolved in the next couple of weeks, so.
Yeah, I think also, Mr. Dusty probably worked closely with Larry and the installers, so you could probably get more insight on this.
yeah,
too.
Okay.
yeah.
yeah, he'd be a good resource, because I'm pretty sure I got some emails back and forth about this stuff too.
Okay,
And
so-
some debate going back and forth, because, you know, we were having a
It
hard
was a
time with
mess.
it. Huh?
It was a mess,
Yeah,
okay,
let's just say it didn't go smooth.
Okay.
so we're taking off.
Yeah, let's take that one off then.
And
Are
like
you
I
good
said,
with that?
earmark it for
Yes, sir.
the special, the next special.
Cause you kinda picked some things apart too, concerns.
Yeah,
For
the
a window,
The description is so vague, and if you're
Yeah.
spending 18 hours drawing, what did you draw?
right,
Right.
You know, in 18 hours, I can put I can design a house.
when the project was already done. What are you redesigning?
Well, unless this is bills for the whole project, which would be fine, but then we should get,
It was all paid?
okay. So we would have gotten other bills from them, I guess.
Mhm.
So what's been paid
Well,
to
that's-
them?
That's what I said, we need a report.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tammy.
Yeah, okay, so we get
For-
something from
yeah,
Tammy and we,
Yeah, and then
okay.
I can, when she gives me the report, I can go and pull the actual bills out of the warrants,
Okay,
so we can see, are they for, because they also did things for the basement. So they've done several jobs for us, so let's just make sure these aren't,
yeah, okay. So like, maybe in a couple weeks, we revisit this?
Yeah.
Right? And we're not gonna worry about it right now.
No, we'll take it off.
Meeting.
We'll
Gen-
figure
gentlemen.
out what we owe.
Gentlemen, I have 5 minutes.
Oh, you gotta go in 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So
All right,
let's
we
go
just got a
through these
couple.
others. So Article 20, to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash the sum of $46,286 to purchase the new Ford Police Interceptor, and trade in, 2020 Ford Police Interceptor over the approximate 104,000 miles, on it, which is currently at the end of its life, and any action relative thereto. This was one that you were looking at a trade-in value.
Correct. So I checked with the
3,500.
chief, and the chief had indicated to me that after talking with the dealer, the trade-in value is $3,500, and so that we could reduce the article request by $3,500.
All right.
Okay, so we're looking at,
So that's already been
What am I-
reduced.
so it's reduced now.
It's already reduced.
So you already reduced it, and FinCom recommends
Yep.
resolved.
Yep.
Good?
Good.
Okay. 24, Article 24, to see if the town will vote to transfer from fire engine number 1 capital stabilization, the sum of $200,000 for the purchase of new fire engine number 1, or any action relative thereto. FinCom recommends.
So this is
Those-
an an additional article because the chief had indicated that he would
that's
possibly
right.
have, access to funds. This would allow the access for the $200,000.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
the one we added. Yep,
So we added
after
this
the
one.
discussion, yep.
So I'm good with that.
Yes, sir, I'm
Good.
good too.
Good?
Yep, one more.
Mr. Chairman, real quick on that, does that also have to include the amount that is being voted on for November? I thought that also had to be transferred into capital stabilization
No, no,
and then
no.
also take, I just wanna make sure.
No, no.
Okay.
We're not gonna transfer it in and then transfer it out.
That's,
Yeah.
my understanding was they had to do that in the past in some cases, so I just wanted to make
Yeah, no.
sure that wasn't necessary.
You're
Okay,
all set.
Thank you.
So,
Okay.
can I recommend that we swap 23 and 24, just so
Sure.
the two, otherwise, never mind, 23, okay, so 22, 23, 24 are basically all the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
All right, Article 34, to see if the town will vote to accept provisions of the Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 140, Section 139C. No fee shall be charged for a license for a dog owned by a person aged 70 years or over, or take any action relative thereto.
Okay, the town clerk asked me if I would put this on, or the selectmen have to do it. It is basically in chapter 140, section 139C, talks about no fees for service animal, and
But does this even need to go to town meeting?
yes, because you're accepting this is what it says. No fee shall be charged for a license of a dog owned by a person aged 70 years or over in a city or town that accepts this provision. So you have to have the vote to accept this provision at a town meeting.
It has to be at a town meeting, and it can't be just a vote by
Not
the
the
selectmen.
boards.
And it doesn't have to be an annual.
Hmm.
We can do
Not
it as a
according to
special-
Lori.
Again, we're still waiting on review from town council, so as soon as, if you're okay with the concept of it.
I'm good with the concept of it.
And, it's still being reviewed by town council.
I think it should be 60 years, so it's okay.
Well, according to the law, it has to be
We're
70.
just going by the law.
And does it have to be a service animal?
No. If you read all of C, it talks about a service animal, that you can't charge for a service animal. And then it talks about this one provision.
Okay.
So we're
This is
just
the-
accepting the
We're just
provision.
accepting that provision in town.
I'm good with it.
How much is a dog license, if I can ask? It's like
$7.
$7.
Okay.
To somebody that's retired, that's a lot of money.
Okay,
So. Are you good with it?
I'm good.
All right,
all right,
Good.
that's it.
done.
So like I said, the, Jeff is working on his review. He should have it to me by the end of the week, and then we'll be able to move forward. And
And then we'll do our final vote on them on next Thursday.
next Thursday, FinCom is meeting to do one final look over on Tuesday, and then
You say it.
the warrant could then be closed on Thursday and signed by the board.
Derek, can I have you just make the motion to pay Joyce Ihawker for the Zoom account for $16.99
Of course.
and vote on that so Joyce can get paid, and then sign that piece of paper?
What, are you the chair now?
No, sir, I'm not. I'm just trying to help.
Ditto. Said moved.
Move on. Said moved.
To,
So moved.
So moved.
yeah. So motion to pay Joyce Ihawker the $16.99 for the reimbursement of Zoom.
Second,
All in favor?
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Pay Joyce.
Rich Ihacker abstains.
Rich abstains. There we go.
And I excuse myself. I have
Unless
a-
you want to be here about the flags, real.
Okay, I'm just gonna complete excusing myself because I have a date with my
Okay.
family.
Okay. All right. And you were good about the flags the last time, right?
Yes.
So next thing on the agenda, review and discussion of a draft of the proposed policy regarding the raising of flags
Wait.
on town property.
Do we need a motion to accept the articles?
No, because we're not accepting them yet.
No, we're gonna have one more final review.
One more, okay, all right,
Yeah.
Thank you.
okay,
So
flag.
we have the flags.
Oh, you got rid of C and D.
Right,
Okay, that was the only
Yeah.
change?
right.
Yep, that's what we all kinda
Yeah, it was
said.
too vague
Yeah.
or open to interpretation. Bye.
Take care, Derek.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the Town of Warren, do we want flagpole policy?
You could call it whatever you'd like.
Let's do full, I don't know.
Flag policy.
Flag policy, yeah,
Because it's not a flagpole, we're doing flags.
yeah. Okay, so
Get rid of flagpole.
I'll make
Okay.
a motion to accept the Town of Warren flag policy with the edit that we just talked about.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Okay.
The policy is adopted. Okay, next thing on the agenda. Report back on the inspection of the Warren levy with the Corps of Engineers from today. I think it was a good walkthrough. We learned some new things. One of the property owners adjacent to the levee repaired what they removed. So they put that dirt berm back in where it was. We checked that and they seeded it, and so that's looking good. There are things we do still need to correct. Hopefully with the article, dedicated some money to the levee, we'll be able to correct some of this. One of the things is camera in the pipes. That was one of the things that they put is probably one of the top priorities for them. And making sure the valves are being exercised on that. And then making sure that there's an emergency flood plan for it. And then making sure the seals for the being able to close off one of the waterways, and that is being done on that, and making sure that is being properly exercised, because if you don't exercise the valves and exercise these devices, they tend to corrode up, rust up, and they seize into place, and you can't move them. And making sure that they're properly lubricated, and, making sure that you bring them up and bring them down, and they're properly working is part of the process. And we gotta abide by the O&M manual, the operation and maintenance of it. They were impressed with the trailer. They were happy we did some things, some repairs, but we have some work to do, and they'll be back again in another year.
Or,
Hmm?
no, like 2 years or something,
Yeah.
right? So
Site
they
visit.
did
Well-
a big inspection today, but I think next
Well-
time is something less.
Yeah, they said we can request them
Oh,
to
okay.
come in, and it's our advantage to request them to come in, because when they come in and they see we've done work,
Yeah,
it puts us at a higher rating, because then they annotate that and they note that they did their annual check. It's not the 5-year check or the 10-year check, but they did like a site review. They did their annual site review, and they'll annotate that we've made these repairs and made these corrections. And when they look back, they say, okay, you've done these.
Mhm.
And it helps us if anything does happen, there is a breach, they have it on record that we made those corrections already.
Yeah.
You know, versus us saying, yeah, we did that. Well, if you did that, why did levy breach, you know? We'd have to show that we paid for those services and they were done correctly and they accepted them. So, but it's actually an advantage for us to have them come back each year and check the progress.
Mhm.
And it doesn't hurt us any, it's not costing us any money
No.
to have them do it. And they're seeing we're doing things.
Mhm.
You know, we're taking an active thing on it. Oh, the other thing is we gotta look at, which is on the lower level of things, is doing the brush removal along the levee system. We gotta remove some trees out of the levee system that were growing in there. And when I explain the levee system, it's not just where you see the dam, it's that whole elbow in the rounding of the river, the going around the corner there of the river. All that is part of the levee system on both sides of the river. So we gotta try to remove all that brush. And then they noted it would be in our interest to make some repairs along the wall, along the river, that's retaining the dirt. That wall is not part of the levee system, but it does retain the dirt that helps support the wall, the eye wall. What was it, eye wall or T-wall?
I will.
Eye wall, that is part of the levee system. So it's important to have that dirt there, and if we don't have those boulders and those supports along the river, keeping the river from washing away the soil, it erodes that soil, and then it compromises the levee. So it's in our interest to make sure that those boulders and those rocks are put back where they were and repaired as we can, within our financial ability. But as long as we can make sure that dirt sits there and is maintained there, to hold the levee wall in place. And that was about the extent of it. I don't know, did you have anything? Did you guys see anything that? Ed?
We need to check on easements.
Yes, we need to work on easements.
The other
That's a
thing
big
is, the sewer department now has a camera, right?
Yeah.
Will it work I mean, it may be sewer pipes are big, so will that camera work in?
Well, they did bring that up, and they said, well, if your sewer department is certified, they might be able to do it.
Okay.
But I don't know if they're certified for them to do that, because they had to have that certification from, I don't know, I told you to write it down.
Yeah, I
You
did.
wrote it down, that engineering policy or something like that, or guidance.
Yeah.
Because they have to have this certification, and if it falls in between like a 4 or 5, it's good, but if it falls below that, it's less. And you can have it cameraed, that's fine, because it will tell you if you have any blockages or you have to repair anything. But if you have somebody do it with that certification, the Corps will actually take that and accept that as their data.
Okay.
So it's best if we have somebody have that certification to do that. I don't know if they have that certification there at the
So-
sewer department, but it could tell us, you know, we could look down the pipes, they can go down 300 feet and give us information, but unless they have that certification to say that that pipe is good and it meets these standards.
Well, I mean, is it possible to get an engineer and then use our camera? It
I
might be a little
honestly don't know.
Cheaper than getting the engineer and them bringing their equipment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We could check into that.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Or if we could film it and have somebody take the video and analyze it. Again, they don't have to come
I
out.
don't even know if that's,
Yeah.
this is all new to all of
Yeah.
us, and I think we need to learn more about what that certification
What the
is and
process
what it
is.
is
Yeah.
to get this done and have it done to the standards where the Corps will accept that information, they accept that data. Because, yeah, it's great we have the camera.
How do we use it, right? How do we?
Yeah, unless you have the people that are properly trained to do that inspection,
Mhm.
which I don't know if they have. Yeah.
Jim, is the sewer department used the camera yet?
Yes, they have.
Okay,
Yeah.
how's, and
They liked it.
They liked it?
They
Okay.
yeah. They've run some tests with it and learning how to learning it, all the features and different things. And it can do video. It can do, USB outlets so that it can be transferable to other devices and other
So
things.
they could download the software.
Yeah.
okay.
Good data. Yeah. But yeah, did you have anything else from it?
No, I thought it was.
Anything else that you thought?
No, I thought it was. I thought they came across as providing us with some level of charge as to what they would like to see done. I'm going to be working with them to identify the top priority ones,
Yeah.
and get that list and bring that list back to the board. Hopefully, after this town meeting passes the article, and we can address some of the maintenance issues there, the top priority ones.
Yeah. And even if we can't address the top priority, because I got a feeling the top priority is gonna be the most expensive stuff.
Could be.
And I don't think $30,000 is gonna even touch
Mm-hmm.
that stuff, because that's a lot of money.
Mm,
And anytime you're working within a waterway, it's gonna cost a lot.
yeah.
So we might have to just use that money and say, okay, let's get some of the low-hanging fruit
Mm-hmm.
and address the brush and the trees that were there, and maybe take care of that. Maybe get the camera inspection, depending on how much that cost, and go from there. Because I honestly don't think we're gonna be able to do any real major repairs,
Not for 30,000.
not for $30,000.
Just that thing of fixing the edge of the dirt area that's
The
in the
waterway, yeah,
mean,
that's
there's-
gonna cost a lot of money.
That's probably $100,000.
Right, right.
Because you've got to build a little area, right,
Mhm.
evacuate the water, probably put rocks there or cement, a cement wall.
Yeah.
And,
They're probably gonna have to do cofferdams,
yeah,
Right.
that's, yeah, I mean, that's,
and that's not cheap,
Mm.
because they gotta drive them into the,
yeah,
right down into where they don't hit water anymore, get the area dry, and then build it out.
yeah.
Unless they just say, well, we can probably just lift up the old rocks, put in some new rocks, build it from there, and they can do it maybe on a dry season, when we have our driest point.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can get access to it, because there's times where that river really runs low. But it's hard to predict,
Yeah.
so. But yeah, we got work to do. I say we just pass it all off to Board of Health. Put Joe in charge of it.
They're best equipped.
Levy director.
Yeah. Director of levies.
Director of levy studies, yeah. You'd love that, Joe, wouldn't you?
I'd love to dismantle some of the broken dams. I can see a lot of use for all that granite.
Okay, so nobody has anything else to add about the levies?
Nope.
Okay. All right, warrants and bills.
Right, I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants. Payroll number 17, $57,491.69. Payroll number 18, $62,810.09. Vendor number 20, $52,859.41. Vendor number 21, $233,359.43.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Make a motion,
Sorry.
make a
Bills.
motion to pay the following bills. Marcine Deneen is a constable, $35. Merrick O'Connell, $2,920. Warren Water District, $188.21. National Grid, $395.34. Verizon, $13.35. Comcast Business, $163.65. Smith Vocational, $6,692. Mass Core, $7,251.04.
What do we get from Escort?
We got the
Benches.
picnic
Oh, that
tables.
stuff.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
Where did those go? Dean
I
Park?
don't know. Some
Dean
went to
Park
Dean
and
Park,
Park
some
here.
went to
Yeah,
Cutler. I don't
Okay.
know,
Cut up work.
yeah.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay, so minutes, anticipated vote to accept minutes from September 14th, 2023, September 28th, 2023, and October 5th, 2023, and
We can't
October.
do the last two. We can't do the October 5th or October 12th because Derek isn't here and Rich was not at
I was
either one
not
of
here.
those meetings.
Okay,
So we can only
so
do
we
the first
can
two.
only do September 14th and September 28th, 2023.
All right, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from September 14th, 2023, September 28th, 2023, dog hearing, and September 28th, 2023, regular meeting.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay. And Town Administrator Report. Sir, you're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board. So this week, I just wanted to update the board on a couple of projects that we've been working on. Number one, the senior center is underway. It's looking great. We should be right on the schedule of finishing, possibly even finishing early than the November 10th date. The contractor's moving right along. What's helping him is all this great weather that we've been having to moving the process right forward. I've been getting a lot of positive feedback from making some stops down there to observe the work and to see and to talk to some of the seniors. They're very impressed and pleased with the work that has been done thus far. I know myself and Selectmen Ihawker were at the luncheon on Friday. We had, there was an Italian luncheon. The chicken parmesan was out of this world. Thank you, Jonathan, for all the hard work that you did preparing a fabulous meal. And to Sharon and to the staff and Gail, did an awesome job with putting on the lunch. I'd also like to acknowledge Amanda, Sharon's daughter, who was on the keyboard and the microphone. She played a lot of Italian classics from Frank Sinatra to Dean Martin. Although she looked like Ray Charles,
Yeah.
with the glasses. But it was a great event, and I think the people and the seniors appreciated the cannolis that we were able to bring.
Yes, they were very, very good.
Yeah, excellent cannolis.
So it was a fun.
Save me one?
I'll have to get you a fresh one because last week's it won't be that great.
They kind of disappeared. I'm not sure what happened
Did
to
they?
them. Yeah,
Mine
yeah,
was
they
really
just-
good.
Yeah.
But it was a great luncheon, and there was a lot of seniors there, and we were able to see some of the work that's been going on down there. So it was a really good time. As we continue to move forward with the senior center, addressing the roof concerns, and the article will take care of the patching up the roof and repairing the roof to get some more useful life out of it for the next 2 to 3 years. And looking at some electrical issues down there. There's significant electrical issues that need to be addressed with exterior lighting, with wires that have just been hanging off the building for years that need to be taken off, with emergency exit lighting from the recent fire inspection that was done by the chief. So there's a whole multitude of things that are going to have to get addressed there that we're putting together. We have a plan. We're hopeful that the funds at town meeting will be approved so that we can continue our work into that building to make sure that the electrical issues the emergency electrical issues are addressed immediately. That's priority, those emergency items at the senior center. Shifting to the wastewater treatment plant, we have a contractor from Munson that is going to be doing some masonry work. All of his insurances have checked out. He's applied for a permit through the building commissioner, and is to address the most significant steps that were cited on one of our inspection reports from the EPA in the back, the steps that have been completely deteriorated. That alone, steps is going to take $9,000 to address. The sewer commissioners are on board with it. They are pleased that this project is moving forward. They've had a line item for $25,000 sitting out there, an article for probably 5 or 6 years, to be modest, that has just sat there and has never been spent to address masonry work at the wastewater treatment plant. So we're trying to move along.
Not surprised.
We're trying to move along. We're identifying the key things. We're tackling projects, in a strategic way, and trying to get them done expeditiously, but with qualified people that are doing the job. That takes time. It takes, making sure that their insurances check out, making sure that they apply for the proper building permits, making sure that they pay prevailing wages. So there's a whole host of things of just, getting from, okay, I want this done. Okay, well, then there's a process that we have to follow in order to get that work done. So we're following all of that processes to get that stuff done. This week, I had some conversations with police and fire. I sent them some updated reports. Our feasibility study have now, and next week you guys will have the reports. They just came out today with some more analysis that they did, some more cost sharing for some of the square footages. So those reports will be to the board next week. For your review. This week we had a new employee start, Sarah, in our building and planning department. The office hours are going to be open from 8 to 4, Monday through Thursday. To start, there may be some adjustments there to expand some of those hours in the future, but right now there's somebody in the office. The office is staffed 8 to 4, Monday through Thursday. And so if you have questions, if anybody from the public has concerns with building or planning issues, we now have a person in there, answering those questions. This week we had a FinCom meeting on Tuesday night. As I alluded to before, FinCom is meeting one more time on Tuesday to look over, do a final sweep of the articles. We should be all set for Thursday for the Selectmen to do their final review. I've asked Karen to get the constable ready because we're going to be under a tight time frame to make sure that the articles are posted prior to 7.
One.
Huh?
Mhm.
That will be number one. We'll have to do it, and I've got to get it out the door.
Oh,
Because it
okay.
has to be posted by 7.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
yeah, that's fine.
One question that was brought up by FinCom, the meeting prior to the special, was there a time that maybe I can inform FinCom when the Selectmen would like to meet with them? I know you guys,
usually meet up 30 minutes prior.
30 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
30
just
minutes
the-
prior to the meeting to hand out the articles,
The motions, yeah.
the motions and stuff, and just.
Okay, so 6:30, I'll tell them?
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
And that Jeff Blake is coming, right?
Yep, Jeff Blake is all set. He's all reserved. He's got it all penciled in for us. So that should be smoothly. Right now, I'm working with Jeremy Olson, with all the bids that came back for highway materials. Now there's contracts that have to be done. So next week you'll have contracts that will have to be signed. Again, there's a level of verifying insurances, making sure performance and payment bonds are done correctly. There's a process to that. We've started that process. We'll have those, at least one contract, possibly more, before the board next week. That's for all highway road materials. We're imminently reviewing the sludge hauling contracts. There was 2 that came back, basing it on looking at both of them. Right now, currently reviewing them, but we should have an award done, if not tomorrow, first thing Monday morning on that. But we were very fortunate to get 2 relatively close bidders on that when before we had none. So we do have that. On October 31st, hopefully we will get a response from our EDA, Economic Development Agency Administration grant for the procurement side and the bid for the proposals for master planning services. So hopefully that will be coming, we'll get some responses. This time it's due on the 31st at 1 o'clock.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
That's about it for right now. That's for this week.
Can I mention one thing?
Absolutely.
So, when I was there on Friday, I took a couple photos of the AC unit. It's gigantic,
Mhm.
right? Because there is the neighbor who's unhappy about that. And I showed pictures to someone I know who does HVAC work, and he thought it's probably the right unit. If it were replaced, you'd probably get the same thing. The mini splits are not big enough to handle that size of a
Too much
facility.
open space.
Yeah, and I think just too big. So it's probably is what it is. He thought, so maybe we need to figure out what exactly the noise is. He
Mhm.
thought there could be like a fan balancing problem, bearings, maybe just something needs to be greased.
Mhm.
Do you know specifically what the complaints are? I mean, besides just noise.
It was just noise. I think it was primarily during the summer months when the AC unit would go on.
Yeah, yeah. But I guess, you know, like a squeak, a squeal, you know, a tinging if a fan is hitting the
No,
side of
it
the.
sounded like a loud motor running, and it
Okay.
was only, I was there when it happened once, and it did happen. It was a little bit loud, not obnoxiously loud, but there was some level of loudness there. It only lasted for maybe 15 minutes, and then it goes off.
Mhm.
Yeah, but 15 minutes every few hours, or
Or as the temperature goes up.
every
right?
20 minutes, and it kicks on, and it could get annoying after a while. And I can understand living next to it could be annoying, but yeah,
So-
maybe it's some maintenance that needs to be done to it.
Mm.
Could be a bearing or something where it's maybe a little louder than normal.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Maybe the
We'll have
motor's
somebody look at
bad.
it.
Maybe just, you
Mhm.
might spend $1,000 replacing a motor or something,
Mhm.
but.
Did
And
we have
also-
anybody look at it? So, yeah, maybe we look at
Yeah.
it and see what they say.
So it looks like maybe some of the problem could be solved with just like, an 8-foot, stockade kind of fence.
Yeah.
There are bushes there. We'd have to figure out where the property line is. There's a few questions, but, it may help. At least
Yeah.
a little bit of a sound barrier.
So we'll look at maybe maintenance,
Mhm.
see if there's something wrong that's making it louder than normal,
Mm-hmm.
and then we could, 8-foot stockade fence would probably do it.
Yeah.
One of those wood stockade fences, because they can absorb the sound reflecting off them a little better.
Yeah.
The plastic doesn't do anything,
Mm.
just lets it pass through, so sound.
I did let the abutter and the resident know that, you know, that is on our list, and we are gonna address it at some
Yeah, we
point.
can look at them all, yeah. All right, anything else? Did you have anything else?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. No, thank you very much, and I wish I could have made it to the Italian, and, you know, luncheon and dinner. Would've been nice, we had prior plans, unfortunately couldn't make it, but, it sounds like it was a good time.
It's very
and
good.
They do a good job all the time, they really do a good job, and the seniors deserve it too. And, Sarah Moran is the new planning board secretary, and we were talking with her today, and she's eager to learn, and it's really nice to have, you know, somebody in that office being able to pick up and, you know, be eager to move forward and do the job, and it's nice. And I've
Yeah.
heard positive comments, I think everybody thinks she's very nice.
Yes,
Oh, good.
good pick, guys.
Yeah, sometimes we get it right. All right, so we're good, all right. New business, anybody have any new business?
I do not.
No? Okay. Old business,
Nothing.
nothing? The lights on the outside of the building?
Yep, hopefully that we will have, when the money comes in at, I keep saying when the money comes in.
When and if the money?
On November 16th, you know, that will be a priority.
Okay. And then I noticed for other old business, because we talked about the walkway we had back there.
Yeah.
I talked with, Jim McKeon, last night, and he brought hard pack, and he filled in all
Yeah,
the
I saw
cracks with
that.
hard pack.
It's nice.
And it's actually a lot more level now, and
There is
I'm
still a
lot more-
spot
it's
that's a
still-
little,
but
yeah.
it's
It's way better.
it's
though.
an old
Yeah,
walkway, and none of us even knew it was there because it was all covered in grass.
yeah.
We were all kind of surprised to see there's actually a walkway there. But now it's a lot safer than it was, and it looks good, and, you know, very nice. And then they painted the handicap spots out there. Although the one out here, for the van access, I don't know how we're gonna do that. Because if a handicap van is parked there, you have to drive around, and basically you have to drive over the the concrete step for the door to get past the door.
Hmm.
Because it's not wide enough for a vehicle, because you got the vehicle out so far. And if they park out there to have the van access, you can't get around them with a vehicle unless you drive right next to the building door. So, I don't know if having van access right there is probably the best option.
Mhm.
You know, we might wanna put van access right here. Yeah, they have to come over a little bit, but we also can't obstruct all the other vehicles from driving around, or
What if-
make it so if somebody steps out the door, they get run over by somebody.
What if you put it down there further and we extended?
You can't be on an angle.
Yeah, it's on a slope then,
You,
right?
you, according to Derek was looking into it, and you can't be more than 1 in 12, you can't have 1 in 12 grade, so 1 inch per 12 feet.
Well,
So it has to be fairly level,
yeah.
and if you put it on the side there, that's all
No, I was
going
just- I
downhill.
was just thinking further down, just a little bit further down.
Yeah, you could probably, we have to look at it.
Yeah.
But right where it is, that's probably not the best location for van access, right in front of the door. So, we'll have to look at that. And then, yeah, I think that's it. So, no other old business. We have correspondence from Mr. Jeff Tripp, email about the bush on the sidewalk again. And giving it to the highway department. And can they please follow up with Jeremy, see what he can do? If not, we're gonna have to notify, the property owner to remove it, do a demand, to cut it back because it can't be in the walkway. But see if Jeremy can take a look at it again.
Oh, this is just a trimming issue.
Right.
Yep,
We should just send them a letter.
Well, it's in the way, and if it's our responsibility, if, highway can go over there and say, yeah, zip, and then trim it back because it's in the walkway, well, we might have to send them a letter saying, hey, yeah, if you're gonna have your bushes right next to the sidewalk, you gotta maintain them. So. So we got that, and then we also got correspondence from Senator Jake Oliveira on the One Stop Growth Program. And he's congratulating us on receiving the $75,000 for the FY 2024 Community One Stop for Growth Grant Program. Again, this is money that the town definitely needs and can utilize, and it's very nice of Senator Oliveira to acknowledge us and, take part in our town here. He's a very nice gentleman, and we've had conversations, and he's definitely helpful to the town, and we appreciate all the help he provides us. So, did you guys have any questions on or anything on the correspondence at all?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So, yep, we got $75,000, and it's gonna go to good use. So comments and concerns. Any comments and concerns?
No.
Comments, concerns? Mrs. Dusty, do you have any?
nope.
Anybody? Joe? How you doing, sir?
Joe Conrad, Board of Health. Well, we also got a grant for the
Very
Board
good.
of Health, $5,280.
Very good.
It cannot be used for payroll. It will probably be used for educational instructions, or if,
Is this opioid money?
I believe that's where it came from.
Yep.
It might also be used for something, even if we wanted to put a plate reader down at the dump, we could do that.
I think there's limitations on
It's
what
not,
you can
it's
use
not
that.
opiate money,
No?
no.
No?
I mean.
What grant is it?
I believe it was for recycling.
Oh, recycling grant?
Well, they gave us a sheet with a list of stuff that we could actually spend it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're looking into it, you know.
What would be a plate reader at the dump? What is that?
Yeah, why would you need a plate reader at the
Well,
dump?
you get a lot of people that come in to dump trash and they don't have a sticker. All right, it's on my other vehicle. Well, if you're gonna do this more than once, we wanna see the other vehicle. You know?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the dump is run by a private entity.
Yeah.
We don't give out stickers there.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but
They get the town stickers, but it's through.
it's through the
Solid
other
waste
company,
solutions.
Solid waste,
Solutions,
yeah,
yeah.
so they would be losing the money.
Yeah, they need to police it.
Yeah.
It's their people.
Yeah, well, it's one of those
Yeah,
things.
we buy
that-
the bags and it's up to them to maintain it and,
It was one of those things that was on a list. You
yeah.
know? We looked
Um,
at it, but most
yeah,
of
no,
it
it's-
seems to be educational instruction.
Yeah, there's probably things that you can do, but they're a private company, so I would be very cautious on what you can use that money
Yeah.
for. Because again, they're contracted to
Yeah.
do this. I mean,
But
I don't think we can use town grants for a private entity.
And one of the main things was you cannot use it for payroll, so.
Yeah,
Yeah, you never can. Well,
it's usually,
It's not
they don't like to have that one-time,
infrequently.
yeah. No, but it's awesome that you got a grant. Good job, guys. And,
We've joined the club.
yeah, getting on the grant bandwagon here. Jerry.
I'm gonna slow.
Anybody, anybody else have any comments and concerns? No? No comments and concerns? You guys don't have anything tonight?
Oh, just.
Wow.
Oh.
All right. All right. Anybody from Zoom have any comments and concerns? Is that Jimmy?
Yeah.
Anything, Jimmy? Did you want to talk about Halloween tomorrow? Is the haunted house open tomorrow?
Hello, you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. Yep, we're gonna have the haunted house, yeah, Jim McKeon.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna have the haunted house on, Friday and Saturday and Monday, 6:30 to 8:30.
All right.
So we have 3 opportunities, and then, trick or treating is Tuesday, the 31st, 5 to 6:30.
Yeah.
We still have that map, if anyone wants to get on that map, till October 30th.
Very
And the
good.
link, I believe, website.
It is. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you very much, Jim, and thank you for all the hard work you've been doing down there. It looks good. We were just talking about that walkway and how it looks good there. You did a really good job.
Yeah, that today, it should hold pretty good. That's good, hard pack. Also, I wanna thank all the volunteers and commissioners that spent at least almost a month building this. So, it's a lot of work put into this event.
Yeah, it's good. It's good you're gonna be able to do it every year. I think you're doing it every 6 months, right?
I think every other year we gotta do it.
Yeah.
Halloween in June.
Yeah, Halloween in June. Well, don't they have Christmas in July?
Yeah,
Halloween in June.
yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much, Jim. Did you have anything else?
The only other thing is the Maple Street sign is gonna get redone. Working with a graphics guy and the Warren Rule Improvement gave some funds to get it redone. So if anyone notices that disappeared, it's getting redone.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Anything else?
That's about it. That's all I have for now.
Good job. Thank you very much for all
Okay.
you're doing.
Yep. Thank you.
I have one mention.
You haven't mentioned? All right.
Saturday afternoon, I think there's a spaghetti dinner somewhere,
Oh,
but I
yes.
just can't remember where.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have our annual spaghetti dinner. The station will be open, I believe it's 4:30 to 7:30. And we're asking anyone, we've had a lot of people come in for tickets and stuff, so it's always been a good event. It's well supported by the town, and I think everybody, Fire Association uses the proceeds to donate to many different community events and other organizations. I mean, that's where all that money goes. They buy equipment that the department can't afford on its normal budget, that they donate to the town, and they do a lot of fundraising and stuff, and a lot of donations to different organizations throughout town, just some of the sports teams and stuff. So they always make sure they do good with the money.
And it'll be a nice evening on Saturday to go have spaghetti.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a beautiful day, so
Beautiful
before it gets
day,
cold
probably.
next week, so
Yeah.
we're looking forward to it, so.
Very good. Very good. What time does it start?
4:30 to 7:30.
4:30 to 7:30.
Mhm.
Very good. That's this Saturday, right?
That's this Saturday, the 28th.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Chief. You sure you don't have anything now that everybody else has spoken?
Okay. So today, the Cops for Kids with Cancer came out, and we presented a $5,000 check to the gentleman. Actually, I can use his name. He said I could. Nate Rimmer.
Okay.
We presented him with a $5,000 check.
Wow.
From the association.
Cool. Very good. Good job. And why would you not want to mention that? Come on now. That's good news.
Toot your own horn.
Absolutely. Good job, Chief. I'll give you a double pat on the back for that one. All right, anybody else have any comments or concerns? Okay, hearing none, moving forward. Next meeting is November 2nd, 2023. And that is a regular selectmen meeting at 6 PM here in the Shepherd Municipal Building. It is November 2nd, 2023 at 6 PM. And motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
You gotta second it, I think.
Seconded. Okay, no, you seconded.
No, I made it. I made the motion.
Do it again.
Motion to adjourn.
I second it. All in favor?
Rich Ihacker, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. We are adjourned.